Sunday, 8:45 a.m. I could have slept longer, but the smell of something cooking tears my eyes open. My mouth is so dry, my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth, and every time my lips move, my tongue clicks. I sound like Skippy the kangaroo trying to open French doors in a house fire. I waddle out to the kitchen, desperate for some liquid. The house is spotlessly clean. There's no evidence that a big-nosed boy with too much hair on one side of his head celebrated his 21st last night. The backyard is how it was the day before the party as well. I can see my father's head bobbing up and down as he works on the retaining wall. Like the bumper bar on the Gumley's car, it has completely repaired itself overnight. Everything is back to normal. I peek in the sewing room to see how Niles is faring. He's already left, says my mother. She doesn't say hello or ask me if I had a nice time last night. She just gives me a curt update on Niles' whereabouts. Maybe catching me kneeling in front of Mrs. Gumley has something to do with it. Who knows? I assume we won't talk about that, which means Mr. Price is probably telling the Melvies about it as we speak. Niles left for Coolangatta hours ago, she says. I sit in front of the Matterhorn of French toast she's prepared for me to climb, and I temporarily forget about Niles, Mrs. Gumley, and my 21st. I'm like a hungry bronze whaler that stumbled on an injured seal as I tear into it. Imagine not even saying hello to your parents, she says. I'd never do that to you, Mummy. I use the word mummy with irony. The face of Mal Gumley suddenly flashes across my mind. Did they find the plane? I ask. What plane? Says my mother. The plane that Nev went to search for last night. I don't know. I think that's why Mr. Gumley wasn't at the party. Danny Connor said he was called out on an emergency. It was on the news. It disappeared in the mountains. 10 a.m. As I make my way onto Pleasant Avenue, desperate to see if Nev is back from searching for the plane, I'm tempted to crawl up the Gumleys' drive and see if Mr. Gumley's car is parked in the blind spot, but Mr. Price is watching. He's like an agitated circus animal walking around the perimeter of his front yard this morning. Perhaps he smells danger. He's not holding his usual package of blackfish. Either he didn't go fishing last night, or he's already given away his quota of fish this morning. I hope he's not onto the plane. The plane is mine. I catch Mrs. Melvey packing tennis rackets into the boot of the family car. We wave at each other. She even waves like she's serving in tennis. Stupid woman, I think, as I wave back with a big smile on my face. How's the party? She yells. Good, thank you, Mrs. Melvey, I say. Have a good time, she says. Yes, thank you, Mrs. Melvey. What did you do to Craig? He's sick as a dog. He was the barman. Mr. Price said you had a keg. Shit. She's talked with Mr. Price. The idea of Mr. Price beating me to the punch about the plane worries me. I want to be first. What did he say? I yell. He said you had a keg. I need to know if Mr. Price mentioned the plane. I have to take a risk and ask Mrs. Melvey if they found the plane, so I go over to where she is. Plane? She doesn't seem to know, or she's feigning ignorance. What plane? She adds. Oh, no, no. Now she's interested. Don't say anything, Sandy. The plane that went down in the mountains last night. Idiot, Sandy, idiot. It's too early to blow what little information you have. I tried to walk away, but I can't. Having her full attention is like a drug. I can't help myself. Mr. Gumley's plane, I say. Mr. Gumley was on the plane, she asked, suddenly forgetting about her policy of only whispering the Gumley's name in public. Walk away, Sandy, walk away. A closed door creates interest. I don't know, I say. I've got to move quickly. I've just said far too much. Mrs. Melvey will spread this like wildfire. The following is a reconstruction of what transpired rather than an exact record. I can't remember everything that was said, and as usual, the following exchange went on much longer than it reads. I've just selected the fastest bits. When I arrive at Coral's, Nev is slumped in a chair. He's dressed in his orange overalls. The 3 top studs are unfastened, revealing a tangle of twisted grey hair crawling over his chest like morning glory. He's splattered with mud. His hair is matted like a grubby bandage. He smells like a swamp, but I know that he knows what I need to know. I must get what I need before others arrive and take what is rightfully mine. Anyone else been over this morning, Honey Coral? I say, giving no indication to my ulterior motive. No, replies Coral.
How'd the party end up?
Asked Nev rather wearily. Good, thanks. Except for those idiots, adds Coral.
Idiots?
Idiots. There was a food fight, I say. Idiots, says Coral. Find anything last night? I say, trying to take the momentum away from Coral. Sandwich? If Coral gets a toehold, she'll take over. Tomato?
Yep.
Cheese?
Yep.
Lettuce?
Yep.
Oh, no, she's not going through the whole crisper, is she? Beetroot?
Yep.
You didn't find anything?
Who knows, mate?
Nev's tired. We're just trying to talk, Honey Coral. I feel like Nev wants to tell me something. The way he says, who knows, mate, all the time has an air of anticipation. Perhaps he's throwing out some burley. Be patient, Sandy. Don't be too eager, little man. You don't mind talking, do you, Nev?
No, mate.
See? Nev blows all the air out of his body and moves around in his seat like he's making himself more comfortable. Oh, this looks promising.
Me and 20 blokes were allocated this area west of the dam.
He pauses. Then he starts up again.
We spent about 3 hours combing this one area.
It's like a car, kangaroo hopping down the road.
As we're making our way back to the hospitality tent, we see these lights about 800 metres over towards the dam. So we think, that's odd. Let's have a look.
Nev has this irritating habit of stopping after each sentence.
No sooner do we decide to look when this prick in a uniform appears from nowhere, and he tells us we're in a restricted area and we have to move away immediately.
Pauses do create anticipation. I wonder who he was.
Who knows, mate?
Army?
Don't know, mate.
Police?
Couldn't tell you.
Do you think they found something? There's a very long pause.
At the hospitality tent, the word is they found the plane.
This guy might have been stopping you from finding out, eh?
Maybe.
I wonder who owns the plane.
An engineering firm.
Tea? Asked Coral. Or hot chocolate?
Whatever's easiest.
She looks at me. Chocolate, I say. Thank you. She insists on picking me up on my manners. Gee, the elderly can wear you down sometimes. I wonder who was on the plane.
Ex-army colonel, high-ranking copper, and an engineer.
What about the pilot?
Who knows, mate?
Sounds like he was off course. It's the catchment area, interrupts Coral. No planes fly over the catchment area. Just when you think Coral isn't listening or that she doesn't know anything, she surprises you. Mug? Nev?
Whatever.
Sandy? Put the spout in my mouth, it'll be quicker. No need for that, says Coral. After consuming 2 sandwiches, drinking a hot chocolate, and then watching Nev fall asleep, I leave Coral's place confused, yet excited. Why would someone say on the news they haven't found the plane if they have found it? And is this the emergency the Gumleys were called out to last night? They say nothing ever happens in Pleasant Avenue. They say the breeze doesn't even disturb the trees in Pleasant Avenue. It's that quiet. It can be blowing a gale in Ocean Street, but when you turn into Pleasant Avenue, it's completely still. On Pleasant Avenue, dogs like cats, muddy puddles evaporate before they soil jumpers. The bitumen is perfectly in line with the gutters, and everybody's lawn, except for the Sorensens, is always mowed. Well, something is not quite right next door to me. There's something out of whack. 12 o'clock, midday. I walk around the back of my house. The only evidence there was a party is a slight beer smell, and even as I form this thought, the fragrance of Pinoclean is replacing that. You just miss Virginia, says my mother, breaking my train of thought. Shit. Don't say shit. You did. You know what I mean. She with anyone? I haven't told my parents we've broken up. They must wonder why she hasn't been around in 2 years. She left a present, says my mother. I quickly grab it and retreat to the bathroom, like a lion dragging its prey under a tree so the vultures can't see it. Before I sit on the toilet to open the present, I slide our small frosted bathroom window across and look up to the Gumleys. Mr. Gumley's Jag is back in the drive. I can see mud on the tyres and the passenger door. He's been driving about in a muddy area. A dam, perhaps? Virginia's present is a large stuffed octopus with buttons for eyes and a zipper for a mouth. It's designed to store pyjamas in. There's a letter attached too. Oh, I feel nervous opening it. Even though it's 2 years since Virginia and I broke up, I still keep her memory in that secret room we all have. You know, that little room where everything is perfect and no one but you ever goes. Dearest Sandy babe. She still overuses the word babe, I see. Sorry I couldn't be with you on your 21st, but Lynn, that's her sister, got married last night in Nowra, so I was with Lynn, Dwayne, that's her new hubby, and Mum. I really hope it works out for Lynn this time. Deep down, she's a good person. Did you have a good time at your birthday? Wish I could have been there, babe. Hey, guess what? I'm going to England next Sunday. Cool, eh? That's the other reason for this letter. We're having a raku going away party Friday night at my mother's place. She's moving up the coast, so it's a party for her and me. It'd be so cool if you can come and make pinch pots, babe, and I'll tell you about my plans. Love forever, Ginny. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Kiss, 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 kiss. Plus, there's a long skinny squiggly thing which she writes underneath, and a big fat tonguey.